藩政の改革が圧迫せし頃、一つの魔性の魂が輪郭を上げてよみがえった。大地を揺るがし出現した城は島原の人々を災いに染めていった。それに呼応するかのごとく、己が身を修羅に変え、定めに生きる者たちが現れた。サムライスピリッツ天草降臨。いざ尋常に1本目今日
Hello everyone, welcome to another Randomised Gaming Fight Night stream, and I am your host, Random Gamer Riven, and with me is my co-host, Random Gamer Dragoon. And in tonight's video, we are doing Samurai Showdown for Asuka's Revenge. Incidentally, you'll notice the titles in English. In fact, I'll show you. This is one of the few Sega Saturn games where language, English, Spanish, Portuguese, Japanese, English. So you get all the primary SNK languages in this one. You also get some nice Saturn options. So you got light, medium, strong, kick, hoit, bourgeois, bushidi, and incident. It actually uses up all 8 controllers on the Sega Saturn. I think it does like double attack and strong attacks. Now, this was the last of the Samurai Showdown series. If I'm being honest, this is my most favourite outing in the franchise. So you've got the Saturn options. Demo cut's just a short version. Just shortens the character selection screen, but I think we'll leave it with the pictures just so we can see who we're selecting, as it's been a while since I've played with thing. The only downside with Samurai Showdown 4 is it has a couple of SNK games had a weird winner stay on mode in verse mode, as if they were arcade games, so you didn't get to repick your character if you won the match. So we will be having to, basically whoever wins will have to stay as the same character. So I'm on the right, I'm player 1, Random Gamer Riven, and Dragoon is player 2. Now, incidentally, quick secret, hold down, if you want to play as the final boss, if you hold down Y, then press A to select, you will get Zubari, Zenkado, the final boss. So we're taking a look. This does require the 1 MB cartridge. It doesn't support, despite being quite a late release, it does not support the 4 MB. It's actually got, well, I mean, I think the third game works with it, but basically SNK's games were never designed to use the 4 MB. They were only ever designed to use the 1 MB. Incidentally, technically, I am playing my version Dragoon, you have to pick grades afterwards as well, so pick slash and So this is actually my Samurai Showdown Best Collection, which is a double pack that contains both the Samurai Showdown games. There's actually 3 Best Collections. There's the King of Fighters one, which contains all 3 King of Fighters games on Saturn, although that's a bit of a weird mix. You get 4 in a packet, and then you just get like the CD case for 7 and 6, and there's also a Best Collection for the 2 Fatal Fury games. So I am Zenkuru, and Dragoon is Hormaru. Correct what Riven said there. 95 is the normal box version of King of Fighters, and 96 and 97 are in a double pack. Yeah, although it only comes with the ROM cartridge for 95. You have to actually buy the 1MB separately in that pack. In fact, all the best of collections don't come with the 1MB. They're assumed you already own it. Hence why we actually have the Waku Waku with the 1MB and Marvel Superheroes. Now, this to me is the end of the Samurai Showdown series. I don't particularly like any of the other games that come after it. They just never felt like Samurai Showdown. I just didn't feel... They felt like imposters trying to make a game. This one really is the true... Really was the last Neo Geo one in the series. And it's... I think SNK's game suffered once Playmore took over. You do actually you can pause it and bring up a moves list, so there's quite a lot of options in this. There's not much in the way of additional content, although there are a few cheats I was digging up today, so there are a few more cheats than just play as Zankuro. So basically, yeah, heavy, it's kick and then hold down kick, which is Y, and then select with light slash, which is A. I think I might have quite advantage as Zankuro. I think I might. I do like the size of his spray. It's a really, really lovely size spray. Conclusion. Downside is with this one, I won't be able to then change my character. So Zankuro is actually the boss of the 3rd game, and he was reintroduced. He's back in this one as well. I think arguably the 3rd game is a slightly better port than this one. And yes, this does have the weird winner stays on mode. I'll try. Oh, I can't even select mode. Yeah, it saves all your stats and there's no... You can't change anything. Hanzori Hattori. I'm sure that's what the guy was called. Hanzo was what he was called in Kill Bill as well, the sword maker. I wonder if the background's related to player 1 as well, so... Guessing so. So it does have the 4 primary buttons. I think it also uses the... Okay, that was the super... Yeah, literally Z is set to unlock the super attacks now. Yeah, I think he's a... I definitely think Zankuro's got a real advantage in this one. Yeah, I think Fatal Fury 3 had this win system as well, where you couldn't change character. Which is a nice transparency effect, but that's not actually a transparency effect, that's an on-off frame effect. Which is actually what Castlevania Symphony of the Night used a lot on PS1, but the Saturn developers didn't realise that, because they were such an inexperienced... I think arguably, visually, this is probably the best SNK game on the Sega Saturn.
Yeah.
Real Bout was very good as well. Yeah, you're completely locked into everything you picked previously. Real Bout, Fatal Furies. I think for me the best fighting games, the SNK ones, probably Real Bout Special, King of Fighters 96, although 97 is technically a better game, but I just prefer 96. And I think Samurai Showdown 3 is definitely the better of the two ports, but Samurai Showdown 4 is just the better game. Azuka is originally the boss of the original game, who's basically, hence the title, His Revenge, as he's back in this one. Victolly. Oh, it actually say Victolly.
Yeah, it says Victolly. It doesn't mean on guard.
Oh yeah. I think it depends on the characters. I think because some of them were French and stuff, doesn't he? Hanzo's like a weird redone version of Galford. There are a couple of characters in this that were basically like redesigned versions of previous characters. Yeah, Zed seems to do your power super. Conclusion. Yeah, if you press Z when you have the power bar, you can unleash havoc. Now, to actually bring up, so on top of the boss, I did do some cheat discovery today again, and I'm just going to bring it up. What was it, King of... I basically go trawling Japanese cheat sites looking for. And I got a couple of additional cheats I hadn't seen on the Western version. So, self-determination. During the game, if you enter left, right, lower right, bottom plus weak, slash and kick, this character never loses the game. Bottom right. Oh, that was... That would get you there. I must admit, this one doesn't properly... This one actually has an X by the 4MB, because SNK games I mentioned none of them actually officially supported the... 4MB, so they some of them do work with it, but they don't work. None of them work properly. Usually get longer load times, even if they claim they do. Yeah, when your power bars max, you press Z, you just unleash havoc there. Conclusion. That's 2 wins of Sakura. No, and I can't pronounce their names. So self-continuous slash mode. I think that's an additional. Kazuki, Atoya, and Hizumi have the special continuous slash in addition to the normal. So basically, they have hidden. 3 of the characters have hidden stat versions. Kazooie and Atosa, it's XBB or XX. I think Azuka, it's XX. Enter XBB or XX after entering. In case of Shizui, if you enter XXY, you basically get hidden versions of the characters. I think you basically get their super versions. There's a weird sort of Western style as well with some of this, but I suppose it's probably how the look of feudal. Maybe it's because it's sort of wooden housing, so. Failing to trigger the super properly. Well, that's actually quite surprising, that. XBB or XX. Just trying to look at who. Kazooie. Not doing too well this fight at the minute. Oh yeah, once you devastate, use your super bar, you actually lose it for the duration of the fight if you... So there you go, I've actually selected the special version of XBB, and that's the special version of Kazuki. Yeah, so basically playing as a special version of Kazuki, which I haven't seen many people actually mention. This. Just pause it a second. Dragoon is not with me just yet. Oh, we get a free hit, Dragoon, if you want to eat. Yeah, basically I can pull off my super with this version of...
Yeah, one thing also, combat isn't that easy in this.
No, I think this is much more still a sort of traditional one-hit type game. I don't think I actually played as this Kizutsu character version of Kazuka before.
Yeah, you've only ever played this about once or twice.
No, but we played it a few times back in the day, but this is definitely because of how the multiplayer system works.
Samurai Showdown 2 is the one that probably played the most.
Yeah, sadly that didn't get a...
That didn't get Saturn release. That said, if you are a Samurai Showdown fan, they have released a collection now on PS4. And
Yeah, there was the anthology on Wii and PS2 as well. It's definitely not the fastest game on Saturn. The slowdown definitely... I think because the animation's so big and vibrant.
they recently re-released it on. What's that? Fatal stab?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, the blood gush.
the blood sprayed him. I'm not sure if you get the dismemberments in this one like you did in the second game, where they can literally be carried
Yeah, I think you
in
can.
a straw bag.
Yeah, I think you still get. I think we're actually going to probably. We're probably going to be lucky if we get through most of the characters tonight, because there is a lot of characters. We're just actually saying the backgrounds to this are always quite dull and dark.
They're like burnt out village, dusty village.
Ah, Shigamu. She's one of them that also has a secret dance. XXY after playing a Shigamaru. Yeah, so basically he can go straight into his power stance. Oh, that actually destroyed. I noticed your health bar actually shrinks in this one, doesn't it, when you take loads of damage?
Yeah.
I mean, there's some big combos in this. Clearly, the vibrancy in the animation clearly makes me think that SNK wanted to do something a bit more like Marvel in this one. I think perhaps because by the time...
Well, there was a recent interview with the guy who directed this, and apparently he wasn't very happy with this.
The fourth one.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons for getting a chance in the fifth game, was just never very happy.
But this is ironically probably their best game in the franchise.
Well, if the backgrounds are bland, I can see why perhaps they wanted a bit more. Because certainly the earlier games had a lot more animation, like Gildo's stage. Conclusion. Shigemaru.
You're actually missing quite a lot of the roster from the second game as well.
Yoko. Who did appear in another game on the Saturn. Was it Dreamcast? She was in a...
Normaru. No Karuru. Actually, her name is not translated correctly in English in this one, I don't think. She's, yeah, she's like, no, maybe I'm mistaken. Nakaruru. She's, of course, another one of the mainstay characters of the franchise.
I don't think she was in...
Yeah, she's in all of them.
Famously being one of the few King of Fighters characters in the first Capcom
vs SNK, yeah, it's quite tricky character to unlock as well. She's got quite nasty slides as well. That's really nasty, that fan wall. My problem with the later King Samurai Showdown, like 5, was they just reused tons of assets because they clearly didn't have the resources, and by that point they needed to redraw them because Samurai Showdown 5 is so much later than this. It's it just basically says it's knackered hardware at that point. It's time to super. Maybe a tight third match.
Yeah, that's just a brutal.
That's 24 hits. Close to about quarter of the damage. Yeah, if you press Z, you just unleash yours, but it did just without even pulling off the. So they really took advantage of the controls. This was just a lot of easy control buttons on the Saturn's version. I think this version's actually based on the Mega CD version. Not Mega CD.
LRR by your sword, you pick it up.
I pressed light slash or heavy. I think this is based on the Neo Geo CD version. So the Neo Geo CDs are always a bit of a weird machine. It was, and I.
Yeah, see, that was one of the things you'd have thought SNK would have wanted to keep their
games to exclusive, but I think it told you how well the Neo Geo CD had been. All time over. Even tells you your successful victories against. That's the old coughing guy. Yes, a double X gives me the special version of not just trying to work out which character is so because Akatsuki, oh yeah, he's Yukai. Yeah, Yukai Tachi, oh, I cannot pronounce that for the life of me.
Yukio Takahi Banana Duchi Bana.
This is the coughing guy, as I like to yeah, C is the two heavy slashes together, so I do remember him being very nasty. Some nice sprite scaling as well for him. He is quite a nasty character with some of his slashes in this one. Yeah, I mean, there's much more an emphasis on the actual clash in this, I feel. I'm not sure how complete this version is compared to the original arcade game. It's definitely, I mean, it's definitely got slowdown issues in comparison to the original arcade game. Yeah, that's the slash I was doing. You might want to get that cough looked at. But if you unleash your super bar and do the supers, then you actually lose your super bar. Which is an interesting tactic. It means you can only use your supers the once. Conclusion. I do really love this. For a Neo Geo game, this is a really, really impressive animation.
Oh, so naive. Although you should have OH.
Yeah, SNK traditional English.
The classic violent fighting to come again. From KOF 95? Was it 96?
96 is violent fighting to come again. SNK were notorious for mostly being cheap and doing their own English translations without properly understanding English, so you got lots of broken English terms.
Genki desu Ohio, which is like saying that in Japanese.
Galfin.
Dog, the star of the show. Go get it, boy.
Yeah, Hayato is really just a reskin of him. That is quite. The dog
It's a rather nasty attack. Go get it, boy. And that the kind of attack someone would spam in arcades. Mauled by his loyal companion.
We do some brilliant animation in this. Like ghost attacks are actually very good from Yukai.
Dog mauling.
Galford's animation. Although interestingly, Galford and Hayazo, they actually reuse the same sort of body art. Obviously a way to save sprite. I think you might get a finishing.
Yeah, you have to get conclusion.
If you get the special right, then you get the finishing command. So this one kind of has. I think this was the only one with that weird sort of semi-finishing.
Love and peace. There's an
Did it say, "Our love and peace ain't all that" or something?
love and peace are nice or something. It's like, oh, you just sent your dog to violently attack a man. Tum-tum, get forward.
I just pressed XBBB on him and I got a colour change. However, I've given me a super. Definitely, there are a few hidden versions of some of the characters that I didn't find were that well documented. So, it's actually quite nice. Again, I do highly recommend scouring Japanese cheat sites if you can. We want to look at the term underhanded trick is what I think Google translates cheats as, and that's actually what the Japanese use for cheats. Oh yeah, that is actually XBB, and I've got a special version of Tam Tam. That's not on the cheat list I've got. Because I take it if you, Dragoon, if you press LB, you don't go into super mode. Oh, you do go into super mode. Oh, I thought you only the special versions went into super mode.
That's like the sacrificial.
God, it's been some time. Yeah, I suppose the backgrounds are very bland. I think in this one they make it look like it's very... You have everything's just gone to war, so it's just like they're fighting in the ruins. Hence why I felt this one felt like the end of the franchise. This one does have some really, really big and chunky sprites, though. I will say. I think, although I think Sentinel on X-Men Children of the Atom is probably the most chunkiest sprite. I'd say.
Juggernaut, probably.
Juggernaut slightly bigger than Sentinel.
I would have thought so. He's a bit wider than him. Oh! Doo-doo-doo. There we have our first decapitate dismemberment. Love and peace, the need.
You're not really an advocate for love and peace when
love
you're fighting.
Love and peace after you've just dismembered a man.
Well, 2D pixel animation, so.
You still dismembered him. Yeah, love and peace after you dismember a man. Imagine that in Game of Thrones. If somebody chopped another guy's head off and said, "Love and peace." Obviously a relation.
Yeah, she's. I think she's Naru's sister. And so I've got all the Sakura trees in the background. I think this is. I think the background is largely picking our.
Yeah, I have a feeling I might not have all the stages back.
Yeah, there isn't. I think the stages in this one are based on the character. Because I think this basically has the arcade selection, which is why you don't get to change character. I think they were a bit lazy in this one, so it's not the best version.
Took out a massive chunk of my health.
She's quite nimble, so Rimrule. I actually really enjoyed when I played through this many years ago. She doesn't have no. So Naru has the bird. Get off its bird. Yeah, his dog's quite a cool character.
Good foot. His loyal companion.
I think I misused my super there in that second round. Cherry blossoms?
Yeah, I think that's close.
Conclusion. That was a medium one.
Oh. Oh.
Oh, the poor dog's got tears.
The tears in the dog.
It's really subtle. It's nature.
She didn't get covered in blood though, I noticed. They had to be right next to them, or was it only...
Yeah, I think certain attacks have different results from...
The tears of the dog as his master is dismembered.
Well, she's beaten in combat. Jubei. Definitely a rather colourful game, the Samurai Showdown series.
Actually, should have been the other the burst version, because the slash one doesn't have many moves.
Yeah, you get the choice of different characters, so basically they do actually deviate quite, although we're playing as the slash versions predominantly, there are quite a lot of changes between the burst and the slash versions of each character.
Well, the idea was to do the slash versions first and then the burst ones, but we're not going to get that in the time.
No, I think we'll be lucky if we get into the second playthrough, because I think this is quite a slow fighter. I think this definitely has very much a very large, and yeah, like Jubai's run there, that's a very... Ice crystals. Yeah, it's definitely, I think slow, this one's definitely a bit played by a bit of slowdown, to be fair. That's interesting, the throw doesn't actually do any damage.
Conclusion.
That's an awful lot of damage.
Yeah.
I think you took out nearly half my health bar in a single hit. Obviously it's a counter hit. Looking fatty. A couple of characters are actually based on, I believe, real or historical Japanese figures.
One-eyed samurai. Jubai is a character that's appeared in a number of games.
Yeah, Jubai's off. The name Jubai is often, yeah, I believe Jubai 2. There were, I think Jubai's based on a couple of them in this game are based on historical Japanese figures.
Oh, man-toad!
Again, there's the toad. There's references. Cause I assume the toad. I mean, I don't have a great understanding of Japanese culture, but I assume the toad has quite a significant importance because you often see characters with this type of look. In fact, this character I'm playing as does bear a resemblance to the character Jubai from Naruto, of course. Jiraiya, yes, Jiraiya. especially with the toad as well.
Victory! Victory! Yes, the strange spelling of victory we see every match. Bunga!
Probably use my super to. That is a really damaging move. That run one. So in case you just joined this, I am in tonight's randomised gaming stream. I'm your host, Random Gamer Riven, and with me is Random Gamer Dragoon, my co-host, and we're taking a look at Samurai Showdown 4, Amsuka's Revenge on Sega Saturn. I think it's Amsuka's Kourin, or Samurai Spirits in the Japanese name, which is the actual name. But the game actually contains the English language option on it, as you can see here, slacking off lately. So, despite the fact it's a Japanese-only release on Saturn, it does contain the English language on it. I wonder if SNK were vaguely hoping they might get yeah, we still haven't been. We've still got 2 characters to go in the roster on this one.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we've done them all straight away.
If you could, unfortunately, the way the verse system was said, the way the verse system works in this, the winner gets to stay on. You can't then change your character, which is a bit of an odd one. A couple of SNKs used this system, and it was very, very, very unpopular. So it was actually taken out.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they've got background. They're either an isolated village or burning village.
Yeah, or the inside the ruins of a house, or... I still think, for me, this is my favourite outing in the franchise, though, just because you've got such lovely sprites. Really good quality, yeah, you can clearly see. Thanks for the like, guys, really, very much appreciated. Hope you're enjoying the stream. Jabai's really got that powerful, that... I mean, this Saturn's port, it's decent in terms of animation. As we said, the slowdown's definitely an issue with this one. There is a lot of additional slowdown. It only supports the 1MB. SNK did not support the 4MB with it. I suspect because if SNK had supported the 4MB, you would have had arcade perfect versions of their games on Saturn, and SNK were a bit... I don't know what it was, but they deliberately seemed to downgrade quite a few of their games.
Same way Sony probably deliberately did
down
with their
thoughts, yeah.
I mean, as for a marketing tactic goes, one could argue that deliberately releasing inferior versions of your games on another format and then saying the console wasn't up to it is a brilliant marketing strategy.
Definitely get a lot more damage for getting those counter hits just right. Really is a... I just love the animation in this. I might do a single player once we finish a little bit of the verse mode. It's been a while since I've actually spent some time with this, so... Although I'd argue this is much more of a purer fighter because there's little distraction in the background, so it is more... Conclusion. Yeah, you get all the changing in the background animations, so...
So
Gera Kelfun, so you get a nice little introduction. It does slow the pace of the game down a little bit, these intros, but they're just a nice little added extra. I do mean to check, I would like a version of Samurai Showdown 2. I think it got released on the PS1, so... Actually, got it on the Wii collection, so...
I've got it on the PS4, because you can get it on the PS4 twice in the arcade arc.
Yeah, have to check. I know there is quite a few releases on PS4, and there's that new one that has that new version of Samurai Show. Was it 5 or 6?
The new one is a collection of all of them, plus includes 3 versions of 5.
One of which...
5 special and 5 perfect, which apparently was the first
Time.
time it's been released.
Yeah, I was saying to someone the other day about trying not to get suckered in by eBay. So someone was trying to explain to me that it's hard to get, they're expensive. Yeah, but it's because people are... There's a lot of eBay... Ooh, that was quite a rush attack. Spencer crawled Charlotte pretty quickly. He's not bad, Guy. He's certainly a really strong character. My favourite personally is Hormaru. Who was your favourite character again, Dragoon? Or didn't you really have one? The thing is, they did change the character roster quite a bit, so...
yeah. I suppose Gildo is quite good.
Because you had the green guy with the...
It's the other person we haven't seen.
Yeah, we're just about squeezing all the characters because of how the system works. There's quite a lot of characters in this, as you saw. You've got 8, 9, you've got 16, 17, 18 if you include the boss, and then you've got... Each character's got slash and verse modes. So this... I suppose SNK moved on to Last Blade after this, which is a sort of more refined version. It was much... Last Blade itself was set as a later title, is a slightly later game. I think Last Blade probably was a better game than Samurai Showdown. Samurai Showdown was one of those series that kind of had...
You had the 2 on the 3D ones, which I don't believe are in any. I don't believe they're in that collection, are they? The 3D SNK board hardware really went nowhere. Because there's a follow-up to Beast Blast.
Yeah, I think there's 2 3D SNK games. They can get a couple on the PS1, so I should try and track them down at some point. I think it was loosely based on PS1, but their 3D hardware was out of date when it released, so I think it released around the time Model 3 released, and it just looked vastly inferior. Definitely think Gara's a bit of a powerhouse. So he's quite defensively powerful as well. Oh, and there's the super for the finish. Just work out which character is Atsuki. Major disappointment dweeb. Not really quite the language you expect from a character from feudal Japan.
Wasn't this Akatsuki's Revenge?
No, it's Amaruka's Revenge. I've got a feeling that might be a mistranslation slightly of the character name. Okay, so we're going to play as... Now, XX was... Yeah, so he's XXB for his special version. Yeah, supposedly the 3 special characters are listed as... The 2 cheat sites listed them. So one listed them... Which... I need to select, don't I? I'm not sure which one is... These 2 characters, in case you haven't guessed, are the sort of reverse of one another. They're kind of like the Ken Ryu characters in this one. You have the fiery... They were... I think these are like the only 2 characters added in for this one, because most of the characters in this, arguably Samurai Showdown 3 is probably the better version. So it doesn't have the slowdown. It does play a bit faster as well. And all the characters, practically all the characters in this reappear in 3. In fact, this one is purely 3 with just a couple of extra characters. So maybe that's why the original developers were a bit... I suspect they might have done this a bit quickly, this one. You can also do the command list, so I'll just show you there. You can actually bring up the command list, Dragoon.
Yeah, it's just seeing, yeah, basically these 2 are...
Which ones were added? Yeah, literally, I think this is about it for Samurai Showdown 4. Maybe that's why they're a bit disappointed this one, because it literally does only add in like 2 new characters.
You haven't got the big guy with...
Yeah, the huge guy. You haven't got the 2. There's the one who has the sort of massive club, and there's the huge one, Earthquake. The green guy with the goblins isn't in this one. You actually have a lot of the second cast is missing from the 3rd and the 4th game for some reason, so I don't know quite what SNK were planning. Sogetsu Kazama. Your 19 major disappointment. Okay, so let's see what was the special for Shizzy. You've got to press XXY.
Dubai was added for this one as well.
Okay. If you enter exit after entering, you can.
Actually, no, there were 5 characters. So Dubai and the guy with the mask were added, as well as Charlotte. She wasn't in.
Ah, so they actually added in a few of the characters from. I have a feeling that XXY might not be quite right. Or maybe I need to select burst. So definitely can get different versions of the characters. So yeah, the fangirl here, Shizuruma, is
boy. That's a guy. Blind.
It's a
woman.
yeah. Oh really? Because there's quite a few of the male characters drawn quite femininely. Same with the Sumera, the main villain. He's male as well, but he has a very effeminate look. Yeah, he's got some. I should get that right. Some very, very, very fast moves. He's a very good character, actually, Shizuruma.
2本目
Double two. Manga. Yeah, this is much slower pace than compared to Golden Axe of Jewels we were playing.
It's not, yeah. I mean, visually, this is probably. Just trying to work out. Visually, this is probably the better game, it turns out, although the Golden Axe of Jewels has probably some more impressive screen rips. I think this is probably the. I'm just not sure which I actually think's better. I do enjoy both. Well, I suppose this has got more characters. This has got more game to it, so probably this is the better game.
Have I now sacrificed some of my health for the next round?
3本目
Oh,
No, it does reset. He's got an uppercut there. Really nasty attacks. There's definitely a real mix of the characters. Jabai, you said, was added in for this one, so Jabai was obviously. I mean, Jabai was in the first and the second game, but obviously he wasn't in the third one. Yeah, just look at that damage. He's a really good character. Oh, Fusion. Yeah, he's a really good character. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what the grades do. I assume maybe that's the handicap.
下目静まる
Although when does anyone adhere to the handicap? So this will be the last fight. I might just quickly do it as a single player after this if anyone wants to. Because I'm a huge Hormaru fan myself, although I haven't actually played much as Hormaru in tonight's stream. I've been lucky to get all the characters out because of the slightly weird system this one's got. Dragoon's definitely a fan. Oh, Burst doesn't have Galford's dog.
No, because obviously it's got to move, so that's that way that's in charge.
Yeah. I do like the actual fan work. The visuals on that are pretty nice. I do really wish we'd seen some more of the SNK games in Europe on Saturn. I think it would have been a very different era if the Saturn had actually had some of its more impressive releases come out on it. Well, that's, I think it's fair to say, a large chunk of the big 3D games did come out on the Saturn. There aren't really too many 3D games that I would say didn't come out on the Saturn in the West.
Dead or Alive?
Yeah, that's true, Dead or Alive. Yeah, you got
Radiant
Zero
Silver
Guns. Yeah, right, yeah.
Grandia.
Yeah, I'm getting... that was a stupid statement by me. That was one of those I hadn't thought it through statements. Yeah, a lot of...
The later sections of Shining Force 3, which had some great 3D.
Yep. Shining Force 3, Scenarios 2, 3, and the premium disc, and they actually improved hugely the visuals. So, Yeah, it's a real shame we only got the first scenario. In fact, the first scenario was a bit edited as well, so... Thank you for the likes there, people. Glad to see you're all enjoying this stream. I was playing Dead for Daylight earlier, which was an interesting game. Our earlier stream. Oof, that didn't look like that ended well for me. Unfortunately, I fell off screen, so Justice wins naturally. Yeah, he's got a full character.
Got a very different character there, because obviously he hasn't got the dog.
Oh yeah, so you got the move. They did change the characters.
Obviously different moves, so it's like having a second version of the character. Yeah, I'm going to finish, wrap it up.
Okay, so Dragoon's going to finish. I'm going to actually just quickly... let's jump into a bit of the single player. Just to show what a bit of the single player's like while Dragoon runs off. And I will pick my favourite character, Hormaru. Will I be Slash or Burst version? Let me just see here. I think Slash version's more based on the earlier games, and I think the Burst version's more sort of a newer control. But depending on the character, depends how many Slash or Burst moves they get. They get quite a range of moves. Some characters have a lot more moves in Slash than Burst, and other characters have more moves in Burst than Slash. So you get... So effectively, each character has two versions of them how you fight with. You tick me off. I overflow with contempt. Now that is SNK. What are you doing here? Seduced by evil, this is as far as you have come. You're just no match. Run home, fool. Ah, that is classic SNK. You talk too much. That is classic SNK English. Fair and square, battle one, on guard! Another strong strike there, victory! Let's have a little bit of a look at the single player. See how far I can get on a quick credit roll. Now I'm going to wrap up. So, in case you're interested, over the weekend we will definitely have the Twin Bee time attack. I should probably edit together the second half. So I've got a couple of videos to do now. I want to do a Sonic R long play, which will come with all the characters. Conclusion. Hormaru's actually away in the manual in this. I think the plot of this world's basically been destroyed, so... Okay, let me just check the command list. So... Oh, it's run... Run and do a slash A, B, X. So I got Chimpende, double dash. Doesn't have many moves, Hormaru, but he's still sort of quite a... an iconic character. I think actually the reason I think it's so desolate is supposedly Asuka's Samaka, the main villain, basically destroyed the world at this point or something. Hello Rap, thanks for joining the stream. You've actually missed most of Fight Night though. I'm just actually doing the last sort of wrap up here with do a bit of the single player. I've already done most of the we've done the verse fighting section where we've taken a look. But hello Rap Lawyer, good to see you back on the stream. We're taking a look at Samurai Showdown 4 on the Sega Saturn. I'm just going to do a bit of the single player now, so I'm just going to see how far I can get. I do really enjoy this. This is one of the 4 1MB games. It doesn't. This one doesn't actually work with the 4MB supposedly. What it means is if you put it in, it probably does some weird graphical glitches like King of Fighters 96. SNK's games were never programmed to use the 4MB, so they were always designed to use the 1MB. So hence why you should always use the 1MB over the 4MB if you ever have them. I think it's largely a port of the Neo Geo CD version, as SNK, after King of Fighters 95 and a few of the early games, I think it might have just been 95, King of Fighters 95 was basically nigh on arcade perfect with the fact it used the ROM cartridge, and as a result some of the SNK fans at that point got a bit angry. I think in part because the fact you could get superior versions of a game on a rival format. I think that was the problem with SNK, was they should have said, actually, we're going to make superior versions on the Saturn because it's better hardware. But SNK didn't. And they still stuck to the Neo Geo CD and the flagling Neo Geo. I mean, I'll be honest, the Neo Geo hardware at that point had become redundant. So for them to carry on using it and not upgrade it to an enhanced version of the Neo Geo with a sort of more better 2D was probably... Oh, I think I'm going to lose this one. Unless I get good. Oh. Yes, visually for 1MB game, this is very, very impressive. Lots of animation. But as I said, this is largely just ripped straight from... Oh, I'll continue for a bit. Ripped straight from the Neo Geo. I think most of the arcade animations there, probably a little bit's missing, I suspect. The later Neo Geo games did tend to have a few frames of animation missing. The ROM cartridges were a nice concept, but the problem with the ROM cartridges, they were too costly to produce, as every game would have needed its own unique cartridge. There are only 2 games with the ROM cartridge. There's King of Fighters 95, which is a superb conversion, probably ironically, although it's the weakest of the King of Fighters games on the Saturn, it's by far the best version with the ROM cartridge use. The other ROM cartridge game, which we do have, and I will probably look at some point, is Ultraman, which is a game that you look at, and if you ever played it, the only question you'll ask after you're playing it is, why does this look rubbish, and why does this need a ROM cartridge? I do wonder if that was perhaps the game that they decided, yeah, maybe making cartridges unique for every game might be not a good idea, especially when your game is absolute just rubbish. It really is poor, the Ultraman. It's one of those games I do wonder why Sega allowed to even have a ROM cartridge. It was such a poor... The brilliant... I mean, the animation for the Supers is fantastic. Ooh, I've taken that one back. This is much easier than the earlier Samurai Showdown games. It's still got the SNK trickiness, but it's nowhere near as hard. The original ones were so brutally hard, they just weren't that fun. And SNK wound down their games in difficulty as things went on. I mean, the shadows there when he does that version of the rising tackles just looks phenomenal. But it does come at a price. There's a lot of slowdown in this version. I think because it's largely based on the Neo Geo CD. And the Neo Geo CD did have a lot of slowdown issues, so... I'm playing quite defensively, having lost. Should we use that jab, because that's got the long range on it. Okay, you're for it now, bud, because I've got the advantage. There are some great intros for each of these stages in the animation there. For Shogun, now move on. Jabai being very blunt there. And as you see there, we've got the... This is an English... This does actually have, as I showed you at the start of the game, or the start of the video, this does have... the stream, I should say, because it's not a video. This does have an English option, which is really nice. That's interesting. Some of those visual effects I don't think we saw in 2-player, but then we didn't... I don't think we got Jabai's stage at all. It's a perfect counter there. So you can knock their weapons out of their hands, much like Golden Axe, although in Golden Axe the duel was virtually impossible. This is much easier to get their weapons out of their hands. Oh, he's going to punish me there. Oh, the guard damage on that. Jabai is a bit berserk there at the minute. I think I've got all the... I'm getting all the damage out this round. Yeah, the scaling is actually rather nice in this one, even though it is straight Neo Geo CD ports, so... You do get a lot of scaling, you get a lot of animation. There's some really nice sprites in this as well. Definitely one of the more impressive games in terms of the size of sprites, with Zenkura's sprite being lovely and big, and we showed him. Hopefully I'll get to him and we'll see how well I do. Yes, get with the counter. Fight slash. I would have actually had the conclusion before. Okay, yeah, I think he's going to dodge. Am I getting covered in blood this time? Yes, I am. Oh. So that was a finishing move. Although this is a very 2D animation, so technically it's an unrated. As I said, this is probably my favourite of the original 4, or all the SNK ones. Very sort of bleak setting with Asuka basically reigning, or Samkat, I think. Can't pronounce his name at all. I need to actually remember it. Oh yes, the counter attacks you can do with the heavy strikes do a lot of damage. There we go, 2. Well, that's right, you actually have a set time limit in which to progress to the final boss, as I recall, so don't think there was an issue if you took too long to actually get to the... I think I'm getting the bad ending today. I think you got like 9 minutes. If you don't get to a Sumkaru within the time limit, then it ain't good for anyone. But yeah, I've actually got the, as I mentioned earlier, this is the Fatal Fury. This is the Samurai Showdown Best Collection version, which is a double pack containing both this and the third game. So it's a nice little double pack, and it's a great way to pick up both the Samurai Showdowns in one go. So you have a lovely little double pack here. The backgrounds are quite... We've got a bit more backgrounds than in the 2-player. I mean, we're running 2-player because I think they're linked to the player characters. They aren't. They're all very desolate, I think, because of the plot of the game, so... So yeah, I'm exploiting some slightly cheeky tactics there, striking him from range. That last attack was a mistake there. Okay. I think I need to be a bit more cautious. The AI is a bit more tougher in this than some of the other SNK games. And to say I'm a bit out of practice playing this is a mild understatement. It's just been some time since I last played this, so... But you just have to learn to remember how to beat them all. Yeah, probably get the strong slashes. Yeah, he's going to counter right. I think the whiz way was to actually just do largely just strong slashes. Like that. Just do that at range. It's not the best fighting tactic, but it does work. The AI is very defensive in this, so I need to be extra cautious myself. Because the problem with this is one of those games where the AI basically uses defense to almost exploit it, and I've got an issue where he's actually got high attack and I don't, so he's got an advantage in the air. I can't hit him. Come on, jump so I can... Yeah, so if he... Yeah, the AI is directly exploiting the range on him. Let's do... Right, time to get good, as the joke goes. Oh. Or maybe not, as the place may be. I'll stream for a little bit longer. I'm not going to stream too late tonight, as I've already done one stream today, but I've been enjoying this look at Samurai Showdown 4. He continues to insult me, this character, Crash. Okay, that's one. Let's do that again. I should go for the... Yep, I've got the priority, so I'll do the airborne slash. Oh, I should really spam the Typhoon Whirl as well. I don't like to spam worlds, but against... Spam fireballs, but against SNK characters, because they're AI... Oh, light attacks as well, I should be using more light attacks as well. Just think he's directly getting... He's directly timing his... Yeah, that was unfair. He hit me during his recovery animation. How infuriating SNK AI is. Because a lot of it's designed to basically hit you back on that perfect frame after it's blocked your attack, or... Right, I need to be much more aggressive with the... basically keep him at arm's length so he can't get his sword back, or when he does grab it, I take advantage of those frames. Basically resort to cheap tactics. If the AI is cheap, you should be cheap as well. It's clear. Yes. Oh, that should have been a hit. Infuriating. Every time I go, it just blocks. Oh, come on. That was... I attacked him when he was still in his animation frame to that super. Yeah, I've got to watch that. His spike will go through my... Oh! The timeout. We just lost on the timeout. Yeah, you can't really win fights via timeout in this one either, because of course you do have a time limit as part of the story. So you do have to win. Gonna try some light attacks. Yep, he's welcome to keep inciting me seeing as I keep losing. Yeah, light attacks were always a bit of Achilles heel for the AI, so maybe I should just try that tactic again. Well, he just counter. Yeah, every hit I do straight after he'll do a straight counter. Yeah, I should probably do that, because if I try and counter with the uppercut, he's going to time it perfectly so that yeah, the block is so, the AI is so defensive. Literally chip damage you've got to get on them. Or get that counter attack. Maybe I should get close and just try and see if I just dodge his attacks. Is he actually going to hit me, or is he just going to... I suppose I could... I don't really want to try... I want to try and beat him in the time limit, because, of course, I don't really want to... But if, as soon as... I'm not having much luck against this guy tonight. It's been a while since I said this. I've forgotten how brutal the AI was again. I need to basically go very, very defensive. But I don't really want to go defensive because I don't want to run out of time. Every time if I go for that slash, he will go. Ooh. Okay, right. Right, got him, yeah. So basically once you knock the sword out of their hand, you have a real advantage. I need to basically go for counter-attacks on this guy. And I've got to watch it because I really need to goad him into attacking me so I can... Not good. Oh yes, that got it off the right. This round is a bust. Oh, come on, come on. Yes! Oh, that was infuriating. Not my best gameplay performance. But I think a satisfactory conclusion to that battle. Okay, so have I taken too long to do this? Awesome, it's my style. Right, I think I need to win this in under 9 minutes. I think I might have taken too long. So I need to really go to town on this guy if I plan to get into. So the deadline is 9 minutes, as you see there, it's not going. Also, against such a defensive AI, pulling out special moves is really quite dangerous because it will just punish you the minute it's finished blocking them. As you can see there, if you don't connect, you will be punished. Should be doing the light slashes more. I do wonder whether the defense of the AI is partly intended because of the gameplay mechanics that you have to basically get to Asuka's castle in a set time limit. So I'm not gonna. This has not been a great run. I will not be getting to Asuka. I don't think it's quite real time. Simply, no, maybe. So we have a shadow. Let's see. So that's the punishment for me messing up the special mode. Conclusion, yeah. So the AI really does punish. I don't even think it. I don't know if it will let me continue. It will let me continue while I give another shot, even though I know I'm not going to get because you've got a time limit. As I said, you have 9 minutes to reach Asuma's, the main villain's castle. I'm not going to even try to pronounce his name, and I can't remember what it is, but I'll give it one last shot. It's an enjoyable SNK game, and I really enjoyed this when it came out, and I'm still quite a fan of it, but it's definitely one you need to practice a bit at. So the AI is very defensive. I mean, you had to get good at this in order to beat, so there were a couple of exploits you could use, I seem to recall, to get the AI to be quite relatively easy. I said before, I do like all these castle introductions. There's something very haunting about it, or the fact it's meant to be like a destroyed conflict. Visually, I do think this has probably got some of the best models. Come on, it does like half damage with some of those counter moves. You see there are lots of damage. So you do have to be a bit... I think there's probably a bit too much damage issued by some of the counter moves, but... Mistime that, he's going to take me in the counter. Yep. Oh, I can still do it if I... Well, no, I'm 9 minutes, aren't I? Well, at least we can show the band ending. Yeah, you can't skip these either. Right, here goes. We've got to get these counters in. Okay, that's better. So basically, if you stay at a distance, he will try and do the fireball on you pretty much every time. Again, light attacks, I should be using them more because the AI is very susceptible to light attacks. But it's not an easy AI. SNK were always like their AI to be basically very, very defensive, very and almost robotic with some of it's the way it counters some of the attacks. Got it. It's a nice one. Yes, he does a counter, and that's a quarter of my energy bar gone. Ah, that explosion attack again. Too slow. He does that quite often as well. Okay, there's a counter. He's done that incorrectly. Fireballing. Nope, that's wrong. Let's get hit. Okay, and he's just used a super on me as well, so that was an instant takedown. This was infuriating. You do the counters on it, and it basically the counter window is incredibly slow. It's incredibly small, but the CPU can pull those counters off with precision timing. Gotcha. Yeah, so as you see there, I've basically failed miserably to get to Asuka in time, so I'm fighting Genji instead. Genjiro, I should say. Oh, surprised he actually took. Oh, now I've got a real advantage because he's not got his sword. I'm just going to block all my attacks till he wins, use the timeout. Again, he's perfectly timed. The AI can't see there, perfect. There's nothing you can do against some of the attacks the AI will produce against you. This is old school SNK. It's get good or get beat. What you inevitably figure out is the SNK AI always had gaps in it, and you would exploit those gaps so you can then demolish the AI. I don't think I'll fight Zankura. If you get to the boss quick enough, you actually fight. So although the boss from the third game's a hidden character in this, you can fight him. He's usually, I think he's like the boss, the final boss. I think normally if you fight him, he's like a stone statue in the background. But as I've got taken too long to get here, Genjiro's got to... Oh, I should do that one more. Okay, that goes through his fireball, does it? If I get that right. If I get it wrong, I get punished like that. Right, sorry, there's no point in me going airborne against him because the AI will just time it perfectly for the perfect frame to take me out. So I have to make sure I get in with his gaps when he's... I've got to keep him from his sword, so that way I can do a lot of damage to him and he can't do much damage to me. Okay, I think I was not as aggressive there in that second half, so I lost that. Let's see if I can try and... Gotta get hit. Oh, come on, that was a bit glitchy there. Yeah, but when you've got to come in right on the landings, else otherwise... Just beat him doing forward slash. I'm going to do a hurricane there. This is the thing. Yeah, she did a reach slash. Time attack doesn't matter too much. So I should win on time over. Not the best way to win, but it's a way. So that's a good way to start. Just really going in for heavy damage on him this time round. So yeah, he's going to do heavy damage on me, but I'm just going to go in for more. Gotcha! And there we go. That is Samurai Showdown, although this is going to be the bad ending, so... Because I didn't fight Asukuma. Amakasuka. Yeah, so I didn't fight Amakasuka. This will be the bad ending. I didn't fight Zankuro either, because usually if you get to Amakasuka, he's like the stone version of thingy in the background. So yeah, this is what's called the bad ending. You basically get two endings. You have to get to the final fight within a set time limit, and then in which case you fight the true final boss. I think we'll get a credit roll, but that's basically, as you tell, not a good ending. Which I suppose leaves it open for me one day on the channel to get a good ending, and maybe one day just actually sit through and do the endings of all the characters. So I hope you've enjoyed this stream, guys. Please do always hit that like button. I'm going to wrap it up here. Thanks for watching, everyone. Let the credits roll, and I'll wrap it up. But thanks for watching, everyone. I have been your host for the stream, Random Gamer Riven, and I wish you a good night, a good evening, good afternoon, or a good morning, wherever you are in the world. Next week's streams will be all on Mega Drive games, so we won't be doing any Saturn stuff for a little while. At least for streaming, I'll do some Mega Drive. I feel like I haven't done quite a lot of Saturn. I might move to some of the other consoles now. I probably should move to Dreamcast. That's okay, Rep. Glad you enjoyed it. It's nice to actually finish it. It's been a while, but yeah, I need to practice a bit if I want to get that best ending again. But yeah, you normally fight... You fight Amakasuka, and you normally fight Zankuro as like a stone statue afterwards, or basically he comes, once you defeat him, he then turns back, and then you've got to fight. So basically it's a proper boss fight with the two bosses. what the best way to do it is. Even if you take longer at the later fights, rush the earlier fights to take them down quickly. The earlier you want to get the time from the earlier fights and make sure you've got lots of spare time for the later fights, because the AI, as you saw there, is very, very defensive. I think that's taken me over an hour to do the single player SNK consumer version stuff. So I will leave it there, everyone. Clear time 11 minutes 59. Yeah, that's not a good. 10 continues. That's not a good clear time. So that's everyone. I hope you all enjoyed the stream. That's it from me. I'm going to finish streaming now. Hope you've all enjoyed this week on the Randomised Gaming live streams. I've been your host for these streams, Random Gamer Riven. As I said, I'll be back next Monday and we'll be doing some Mega Drive streams next week. So there's going to be a range of Mega Drive games for a change. So I hope you all look forward to them. I will see you soon then. That's me off for the weekend. Have a great weekend, everyone. I will see you all Monday. Enjoy. I'll just let this intro play out one last time before I say goodbye. But yep, here's all the cast of Samurai Showdown for Samurai Spirits. I never quite understood why they changed the name. Samurai Spirits didn't need to really change the name. Samurai Showdown for Amakasu's Revenge. Okay, everyone, have a good night. Hope you've enjoyed this stream. As always, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy our content. That's it from me, everyone. Have a good weekend.